is decadent. So this is my rich chocolate soufflés. So to begin with, I've just got 225 grams of good quality dark chocolate melting here, and to that I've added 2 tablespoons of butter, so it's going to give a lovely glossy mixture when it's fully melted. So whilst that's melting, I'm just going to separate my eggs. So for this recipe, I need 6 egg whites, but only 3 egg yolks. So I'm going to save 3 egg yolks for later. Let's just get some newspapers. So time to separate the eggs. So we need 6 egg whites, 3 egg yolks, and then the extra egg yolks I'm going to save to do with something later. My daughter normally separates my eggs for me. It was a skill she learned this year in her cooking at school. So now she knows how to do it. She's my sous chef when it comes to separating egg whites and egg yolks. So we've got our 6 egg whites, 3 egg yolks, and if you do ever get a little piece of shell in the egg white mixture as I have here, the easiest way to get it out is just with another piece of shell. So easy. Okay, time to check on the chocolate. So time to turn the chocolate off, because I actually want it to cool down a little, because if I was to add the eggs to the hot chocolate, then the eggs would scramble, which is really not what we want for our souffle. So I'm going to bring that here and just let that cool down a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work with the egg yolks. So let's move these bits away that we don't need. So I'm just going to add 1/4 cup of caster sugar to the egg yolks. And then we're just going to give these a really good whip up until they go lighter in colour and they almost give like a ribbon effect. It literally just takes a couple of minutes. So these are now much lighter in colour, and as you can see, they have a ribbon effect, so you can see the shape left by the whisk in the mixture. So they are done. Okay, so whilst we're waiting for our chocolate to cool down a little more, it's still a little too warm to add my egg yolks to, I'm going to whip up the egg white. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them, first of all, a little bit frothy and opaque, and then to that we're going to add some sugar. So you can see at this point they're just starting to form lovely soft peaks, which are like clouds. So now I've got another 1/4 cup of sugar, so I'm just going to add half of that first and then continue to whisk. And then once that's all incorporated in and we get a little stiffer piece, we're going to add the rest. So I think we have stiff peaks. So now our chocolate has cooled sufficiently so that I can add my eggs without them scrambling, which is great. But first, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, which is going to give our soufflés a lovely flavour. It's just 1 teaspoon right into the chocolate mix, which has cooled slightly. So straight in there. I also want to add at this point just a pinch of salt, which may sound a little bit strange, but it just balances out all the sweetness. So the vanilla and the salt has gone in. And at this point, I'm just going to add in the egg yolks, which are also lovely and fluffy and light at this point. And I'm just going to mix this in to the chocolate vanilla. And then we're going to start to incorporate the lovely fluffy egg whites. I think people are always so scared of making a souffle, thinking that it's so difficult to do. And actually it's really simple. If you follow a couple of steps that are important, then it's really easy, but also equally impressive if you're making it for a dinner party. So they're all incorporated now into the chocolate. So time to start adding some of the egg whites. So I'm just going to add half to begin with, and this needs to be folded in. So when we say folding, it means gently incorporating them so as not to lose the air that we've put into this mixture. Otherwise, we will end up with soufflés that don't rise. Gently. So generally from the outside, I'll fold in. It just takes a little bit of time, this part of the process of making a souffle, but believe me, it's worth it. So it's starting to incorporate nicely into the chocolate. So once it's fully incorporated, we'll fold in the remaining egg whites. So time to add the rest of the egg whites. This is where you've got to be patient. And when it looks like this, it's ready for the oven. So now it's time to go into our little souffle pots. So what I've got here are just some little ramekins, and I've buttered them and then I've coated them in sugar. So this gives not only the souffle a lovely little crust on the outside, but it helps it rise up. So that's a really important step that you can't miss out. And then just to get them into the pots, I'm just going to use it's quite a large ice cream scoop, so it just makes it easier and neater to get in. So let's get these soufflés in the oven. So I'm just going to take the scoop like this, and you can fill it up, to the top. And then I'm just going to put it straight into the ramekins, just like this. It looks like you could just eat it now actually, but believe me, it'll be better when it comes out of the oven. How delicious does this look? And then these are going to go in the oven for about 180, 190, and probably for around 18 to 20 minutes. Don't open the oven to check on them, otherwise they will not rise. So time to put in the oven. If only you could smell them through the camera. So just one finishing touch now. We're just going to dust them with a little bit of icing sugar. And they are ready to eat. How pretty does that look?